Today in TechEd Upflush, we have Don't Trip Over the Nerd. There's the location of the day. We've got an interview with Russinovich and Minasi, which is a really good one. And we have Beauty and the Nerd. I'm sitting here with Paulina, right?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Poland.
From Poland. And what do you do in Poland?
I'm a security auditor, so I do penetration testing, auditing, and all stuff connected to security.
Okay, that sounds interesting. And what do you think? Have you learned something for your job here at TechEd this week?
Yes, no. I was testing labs before the conference. I'm now a hall proctor. I also attend as the expert zone, and it's a nice experience, but I don't think it's connected to security.
There are sessions from, let's say, Mark Minasi about security, Steve Riley. Did you attend them?
No, actually not, because lack of time.
Did you find what you expected before you came here? Did you meet new people? Did you get to learn stuff that you wanted?
Yeah, actually most of them I knew already, but yeah, I have met new people. And I have had a nice conversation with them. It's a great experience to attend a conference because of these people, actually.
Thank you very much, and I hope to see you sometime again.
This is one of the lunchrooms. Every day the delegates get a different kind of lunch.
I'm here with Russinovich and with Mark Minasi. Two of the very popular speakers here at TechEd EMEA. And I want to know about them. First question for you, Mark, is what is your favorite session that you are going to do this year at TechEd EMEA?
So my favorite session is one that I've actually done now for a few TechEds in a row. It's called The Case of the Unexplained, and it's a troubleshooting talk. So it's a whole collection of real-world problems, showing you how to use the tools and how to identify the root cause of the problem or a workaround of the problem. It's a lot of fun because anybody can take value out of it.
I'm about to do a talk which is, I guess, popular enough that they've asked me to do it twice. It's called Windows Logins Revealed, and it sounds dreadfully boring. But I'm going to show people, when you log on, what happens under the hood. What kind of data goes back and forth, and is it secure? What kind of encryption is used? I put it together because I'd always heard that Windows was so insecure. The Linux guys all say, oh, Windows is so insecure. How come? Everyone knows NT11 is bad. Well, could everyone come explain it to me? And it turned out a lot of the stuff was undocumented, and so that's the first half. The second half is Kerberos, and I know that sounds deathly dull. There's not many jokes in it, and yet it always gets evaluated really well. So I guess I'll keep doing it.
What will you be doing next year?
Well, Win 7 Server 2008 coming out, so I'm doing a Server 2008 R2 virtualization of VHD talk here, but there's lots more talks to come down the road, and I'm sure for Mark too, like Win 7 changes, kernel changes, you know this.
Does it mean that you will be building newer tools too to show within your talks?
He's retired. He doesn't build new tools anymore now.
I forgot how to code. No, yeah, of course. At the level that the tools operate at, there wasn't any significant change in Win 7 that would be exposed in the tools. So the tools work on Win 7 already. Well, if you look at the version number thing, and I'm sure you've got your own great way of delivering this, but the original version of Windows NT was Windows NT 3.1, and that was just arbitrarily set that way to match the Windows 3.1 client, 16-bit OS, 16 half 32-bit OS. So it started out not at version 1, and then in Windows Vista, it was revved to major version number 6 to reflect a big change from 5, which was what 2000 was. And in between 2000 and Vista, there was Server 2003. And that was 5.2, and XP was 5.1.
Yeah.
And now if you look, really the internal version number for Windows 7 is 6.1.
Okay.
Not 7, which has caused people some consternation. They think that we're trying to pull a fast one.
That's what I thought.
But
certain journalists need something to create a tempest to the teapot out of.
But there's one really straightforward reason why it was 6.1 instead of 7, and that's because a lot of applications, sometimes intentionally and sometimes not intentionally, will say, what version of the OS am I on? If I'm not on 6, which is Vista, or 5, which is 2000 XP, then I'm not going to run.
Yeah.
And so if we change the version number to 7, that automatically break a whole bunch of applications that would just fail to run just because, for an arbitrary reason, that the version number's not right. So we changed it to 6.1 so that apps that are written to say, am I on Vista? Am I on major version 6? They'll still think they're on Vista and continue to run.
Okay.
And actually, this is kind of interesting because if you follow the logic of this, the next step, what Windows 8's version number is going to be? 6.11. Because applications will learn, if I want to know if I'm on Windows 7, I need to check the major and minor version number. So am I on 6 major, 1 minor?
Well, I was given to believe that ultimately Windows 7 will end up being Windows 7.0, but just during the beta.
No.
Really?
Really.
Because there's some really exciting stuff in R2, excuse me, in Windows 2008 R2 / Windows 7. It's interesting in some ways. I'm kind of more jazzed about Windows 7 than I was about Vista and 2008 because, you know, some of the stuff they're releasing is kind of interesting, you know, and it's like an Active Directory. We got some nice stuff in Active Directory in 2008, and the funny thing is that the best thing we got was flexible passwords, and you had to dive into ADS Edit, ADS Edit in order. What's interesting is apparently in R2 there's a possibility, we don't know, it's a possibility that they still won't get to have a user interface, and the single best thing in AD in Server 2008 R2 is Active Directory Recycle Bin.
What's your name?
Hi, I'm Karen.
And where are you from?
I'm from Germany.
Okay, and why are you in Barcelona this week?
Well, we are showcasing the ThinPrint product line.
And what's that? What's ThinPrint?
ThinPrint is a software printing solution for all kinds of distributed environments. Wherever you need to print, have centralized applications, have a central print server, want to make sure that your print data is delivered as fast as possible with the best quality, but still considering the bandwidth you have available and ease of administration, all kinds of printing problems you might have within your company.
Can I use it in remote desktop connections too?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, perfect. Well, thank you very much and hope to see you around sometime. Mark Minasi, we missed you a few years at TechEd.
It's true.
I loved your speeches. We're back in Amsterdam. We used window.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah, the TechNet Amsterdam was great.
And suddenly, the year after, you weren't there. And I was thinking, how come? Everybody loved the speeches.
Well, you have to understand that there's lots of different, there's 60,000 people at Microsoft, and they all take my stuff in a different way. I mean, I really like the Microsoft stuff. I could be a Linux guy. It's just that for some people at Microsoft, not all, for a few, if I say, hey, here's this new product, it's got 100 features in it, and 95 are wonderful, let me tell you about them. These other 5, bad idea. Some folks, the ones that are drinking the Kool-Aid by the gallon, say, this man is evil, he's just slamming the product. And in 1999, I finally got into TechEd and I had this great talk. They stuck me in a separate building, still packed the place, got great evaluations. They said, you're hired forever. But I said something that a guy didn't like, and so I was blackballed, banned from TechEd forever.
So now you're back.
I snuck in the back door.
Okay.
And so
you attended Speaker Idle too then?
Sir?
You attended Speaker Idle then?
No, I didn't.
That's how you got back in, right?
No, you know what I think happened? When they split between TechEd IT Pro and TechEd Dev, there was this vacuum, and that huge sucking sound was me jumping in, you know, into the breach. And so this has been a great year for me. I'm very, very fortunate. I got like 8 talks in the US, and I'm doing 6 here. No, I'm really, really pleased about it, and I hope that I continue to get to do that.
Mark Russinovich, just a small question. What's your password?
P&SSW0RD.
Ah, like we all have.
Yeah.
Okay. And then back to you again. I once seen your business card. It says, what does it say? Technical fellow. Mm-hmm. What's that? I heard it's pretty cool, but I'm not sure. What is it?
So there's 2 tracks in Microsoft. There's a technical track and there's a management track. In the management track, you're a general manager, then you're a vice president, then you're a senior vice president. On the technical track, the equivalents are distinguished engineer, technical fellow, and there's one senior technical fellow, which is Dave Cutler, the original architect of Windows NT. So technical fellow is the equivalent of vice president in the management track.
Okay. And how many people are technical fellows?
It's about 25.
25. What do you do when you're not behind a computer or with a computer in your pocket?
That's a good question. Hang out with my family, because if I'm not working on the computer, then they want me to hang out with them. Actually,
there's a huge stack of comic books on the coffee table at his house, and his daughter doesn't like comic books. So I've always assumed it was just him. You know? Archie. I can't believe you watch Archie.
And what do you do when you're offline?
Well, in the last year, I've been trying to get my 3 server 2008 books, so there hasn't been an awful lot of that. I like to do photography. I mean, I've always been a photographer guy, but digital photography recently is just the new equipment has really made life a lot easier.
What do you think is the best change in Windows 2008 R2? What's the best thing that's
So far,
absolutely best?
So far. You know, I have no idea, but I'll tell you a cool one. If you've ever tried to troubleshoot a permissions problem, we're like, okay, person A can't get to object B. My classic answer is, all right, turn on object auditing and see if there's some way, get some hint about what's going on. But object auditing just says, you made it, you didn't make it. It doesn't say why you did. And there's this new global, help me, global auditing SACE or something like this. All right. Anyway, so the idea is it's an enhancement to the object auditing. You turn on object auditing, and then you go and instead of doing what you normally do is, tell me when Joe fails at deleting this object. Instead, it just pretty much says, oh, Joe got to this object, and the reason he did it was because this is the SID of the group that got him in. Or Joe didn't get to this object because he was explicitly denied because of this, or there was an implicit deny. It's not perfect, it's not the whole story, because the extra step would be, what would Joe need to have gotten that, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be really cool to play with. And, you know, who knows? Maybe those sysinternals guys get off their ass and, you know, write some great utilities to let us, you know, really exploit that. Put a nice UI or something like that.
And Mark Russinovich, what's the absolutely best that you're going to expect in Windows 7?
The best?
Absolutely best.
There's just so many things. It's just such a fantastic, awesome release. It's the best Windows ever.
That is like such a marketing line.
No, actually, one of the things that I think is the coolest, this is from a geek factor, it's not that a lot of people will be able to take advantage of it, is boot from VHD.
That sounds really
You
cool.
have a session about
That sounds really cool.
Which I'll be talking about later. But that's just really cool, just to take a VHD that has an image in it and boot off it.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, thanks.
And we'll see you.
All right.
Today in TechEd Upflush, we've got the beauty, and we have the beauty of the nerd today. And there's the beauty of the, and we have beauty and the nerd.